Hey guys, welcome to Free for All tutorials. Okay, let's just create fire. I love fire. Okay, now we just want to create fire from an object, so let's create a object like a torus. Okay, let's zoom in with F. Hit F to zoom in to your object. Well, that's a great object. Now we can just create fire from it. Okay, just go to, before that, you should just create a 3D container. Go to the fluid tab. You can just go to it in vfx tab, and in fluid create a 3D container and just place it as it should be. Well, as you can see, it will create an emitter for you. Just delete it, we don't need it. We will create our own emitter. Okay, well, let's resize our fluid. Where is attribute editor? Here it is. Okay, so I think let's just 5 should be okay for now, and also 5 in this direction. Okay, we need to move our object upper. Okay, and maybe 7 in height is great. Okay, now we have the appropriate size. Okay, let's go for the resolution. Okay, the most important thing in resolution is the ratio between the base resolution and the highest number in the size. So our highest number is 7, okay, and the ratio of 5 is a great ratio to start. So we just multiply 5 or 6 by this number, the highest number in the size, and I think 42 is great to start. Okay, now let's just make this torus an emitter. Click on the torus, then grab your 3D container, go to the fluids and emit from object. That's it. Well, now we are in the way. Let's just play. Now you can see that we can emit from it. Okay, and I think we should go for upper resolutions, like maybe I think 70 should be much better, because we're now just want to test and see the result. Okay, and to see the fluid better, the density and our smoke better in the viewport, we can just go to the lighting tab and just turn on self shadow and crank it up. Now it's much better to see. Okay, so now to create a fire, as we know, the fire is a lot turbulence, and it's a lot more buoyant. So we're going to the content detail tab. In density, we're going for more buoyancy, like maybe 20, I don't know. They just play. Yes, I think it's much better. And as you can see, our container, our boundaries are in both sides. So in X and Y, in X and Z, we need no boundary, and we just want it in minus Y side. This side of our container, we just want to collide with our smoke. So now let me just hit play again. Okay, now it's much better. Now we can go for the turbulence and velocity. So we crank up the velocity, and as you can see, we will have more detail now in our simulation. Can you see these details? And we can go and increase the strength, and as you can see, our frequency is really low now. I think we can go for maybe 2. Let's see what happens. Let's crank it up. Well, that's not bad, but I think we can go even higher, like 6. You know, now we have lots of big turbulences. So let's just go for the content method. If you just want to have a fire, so you need temperature. So let's turn on temperature with dynamic grid. Then we can go to our fluid emitter, and here we can just set how much density, how much heat, how much fuel we need. And one important thing is that you need no drop off, because drop off is like a gradient and makes your emitter more diffuse. So we need no fluid drop off. Okay, so let's see what will happen. Okay, now most of the time, I mean all of the time, if you wanna have a more realistic simulation, you need to make even your emitter turbulent. Okay, so we need lots of turbulence in our emitter. So let's see what will happen now. Yes, as you can see, we have now lots of more nice detail. Okay, let me just for now hide this and make a group for this. Well, I think it's better. Now you can see better. Let's play again. As you can see, we have lots of turbulence in our emitter, and that's great. Okay, now we're going for again the content details to set the more properties. I mean, the content detail, we can go for temperature now. We can just make it higher, and we need more buoyancy in our temperature. Let's play and see what will happen. And because our density should be moving much faster. Okay, let's rewind it again. Now we don't want our fire just go up and up and up. We just want it to finish in these kind of areas. So we need dissipation. We need more and more dissipation. Let me see what will happen. Well, I think we need even more dissipation. Well, and we need dissipation even in our temperature. Okay, even more, maybe 2. Yes, that's much better. Okay, 2 is a little bit high, maybe 1.5. And we also need, I think, more density. Well, we can go for 3. Yes, because I don't really want to see the other side of the fire in my density. Maybe I can even go higher than that, maybe 5. Let's play. Well, that's much better. Okay, now that we have more density in our simulation and our density, so we can increase the not the dissipation. You can go for 2. Well, even more than that. Now go for 4. Well, that's great. So let's see what we have. as you can see, we have now a low resolution simulation. So we just want to see the detail that we have and our shader. Okay, so we can create just a light with Arnold. As you can see, I'm working with Maya 2017 and it has Arnold built in. So we can create our light. We need an skydome light and of course a directional light. Where is it? Okay, let me scale it to see it better. Now we can just position it like this and out of the way. Well, most of the time, because you just want the AI skydome to just lighten up your whole simulation, but not much. I think 0.15 is great. And we can go for a render. Let's see what we have. Okay, now we can see that we have some problem in our temperature because we don't have much temperature. So we should of course increase our temperature scale. So let me go to our fluid. Here we have the temperature. Well, maybe temperature scale of 4. Maybe I think 2 is great, but we need to have more heat on our fluid emitter. Let's see what we'll have. Let's just pause it. Okay, now we can hit render again. Now it's much better. Now we can go to the shading tab to see the results and improve it. Well, in shading tab, yes, the most important thing here is incandescence, and the incandescence input is temperature. It means that these color gradients are applied to our temperature, so we can go and create our own gradient. Well, let me see what we have here. Now, most of the time we need some really bright spots in our shader, like maybe 5. Yes, that's it. Now we can see that yes, I think this position is great for this color. Now we can create our own. Now let me see what we have. Now most of the time with shader you should just play and just find a great spot for them. Okay, maybe we need another of this kind here. When you have some contrasty colors and very bright and very dark, you can see we will have some nice details, but we have and the problem here is that we have a lower seam. Okay, so let's just increase our simulation, resolution. Okay, here we have 70. I think we can go for 100 or maybe 150. That would be a great resolution. Well, as you can see, now we have really a slower simulation. But I think if we just reach 30 or 40, we can see that are we okay or not with the resolution and with our shader, because now with this resolution we will have lots of details and we should see that what we'll get from it. Okay, well, I think 40 would be great. So now I just stop it and I'm going to see the render. Okay, now we have really much higher simulation, and as you can see, now this is not a good shader. of course it's awful. So we can go to our, you know, this input bias, it's really important, in lots of cases it just create, instead of going to just have lots of changes on this, you can have some adjustment on this. Well, why it's not updating? You can go higher, or yes, now you can see that we have a, now we just are going to be much closer to a great fire. Okay. Well, another important thing, I mean, one of the most important thing in creating fire is the opacity. And here, as you can see, we have a graph. In this graph you can do lots of things. If you really want to have some sharp and crispy fire, you should change this place. Here we can have these changes. Now you will see that, yes, here we're going to have much nicer fire. Okay. Well, what do you think? I think now it's much better. Well, let me just have some tweak on this. Here we have lots of orangish color, so we can eliminate these. I think we should have some changes on this. Okay, now here is, as you can see, here is our maybe is a spot that has lots of effect. So okay, yeah, we can have this. So these areas, I think they are not having an important role on our fire, because this is our impact area, our important area. Okay, so I think for this we can go for maybe a darker, even darker, dark. Well, now we're in black. Let me just, yes, that's much better. Now even you can see the smokes here. Even you can see now we have some nice smokes here. Okay, let's just pretend that for now it's a good fire, but I should just create maybe a sequence render of this, maybe just for 20 frame. Okay, so that I can see the motion is okay or right, because the most important role in fire is its motion. So I just pause the video and we'll see that if it's okay or not, and then we'll continue to bring it up. Okay, as you can see, I've just rendered about 45 frames of our fire, and it's looks good, but I just can see some problems. And the first problem is that I think if we have more speed in our turbulence, in our turbulence in emitter, we will have better variation in our fire. And another thing is that I think it's somehow slow. Maybe I should just makes it faster, makes the fire faster, because the fire should just really look fast. Okay, so let me go to Maya, and well, somehow I think and I think you are agree with me that we are okay with the shader, so I'm not going to tweak it, but I'm going to first, as I said, in our emitter we need more speed in our turbulence. So here we have the speed, and I think maybe 1.1 should be good for our purpose. And another thing was, well, as I said, the first one was this speed, and the second one, we should just make the simulation faster. And in our dynamic simulation tab, we have something that we call a simulation rate scale, and we can just change it to 1.5, and it will faster simulation by 0.5 scale. And now that we are satisfied with our result, now we can go for the high detail solve, and we can change it to all grid. It will create lots of details for us, and we can maybe go for 200 in solver quality. Now we will have lots of nice and crispy details. Okay, well, and of course, I think we can have some turbulence in our temperature. Okay, I think that would be great. And we need no diffusion. Well, why should I just not turn it off? Well, it should be 0 because we need no diffusion in our temperature. Okay, let's just simulate it, and I think that should be cool for now. Now we're going to reach that 40 frame again, and now we can see that we are now even much slower than the last time, and that's because of that solver quality that I just pulled it up to 200. It will just create lots of nice and crispy details for us. Okay, let's just finish its simulation. Now I just pause the video. Okay, now we are on frame 34, and let's just see the result. Okay, as you can see, because we changed some of our simulation properties, we should also go and tweak the shader. Okay, I think maybe we can just have some play with this number, maybe 0.2. Well, 0.3 was good, but we need to adjust these properties. Okay, let's see what we can have here. Well, as I can see, we should have some, this is the part, as you can see, as I move this, this is for these kind of areas, and this one is for these areas. So if we just have some dark areas in these parts, that would be nice. Okay, let's just move it. Wow, look at these nice details. Okay, in shaders you should just tweak until you get some nice shader. Okay, this part has an important role in our shader, so most of our differences should be here. Maybe I can use even this. Here should be okay. When you just have a bright spot like this, and then this is 4 in value, and it means here we have lots of brightness, and you just create some dark spots near it. It will create some crispy nice details for you. We can even now create another one here, and we can go for another detail things here, maybe darker. No, it should be good. You know what? Trees is a lot for this part. Two would be great. What about this? What if we're going for 7? Ah, yes, now you can see these nice details. Okay. Well, now I think it's great. And much greater now, as we have these nice details here. Can you see? Okay. Well, what can we do to bring it on more and more? Maybe we can have more brightness in this spot. 5? Well, no. 4 should be okay. Okay, so let's go for the render properties. If you go to the properties here, we don't want to do a lot with that. Okay, in Arnold Renderer, everything is by default, but if you want to have more sample in your render, you can just go for this volume indirect. It will decreases the noises in your volume, and in most cases, if you go to the Arnold tab here, well, can you see this step size? It has a lot with the speed of your render. If I just increase it to 1 and hit render, you can see it's a lot fast, but it's somehow a lot noisy. Well, let me go for 5 here in AA. Well, yes, that's much better, and it just takes about 7 seconds. Now let's just render and see what we get. Okay, do we need to change anything? Yes, to get the sequence, we're just going for this name underline dash .ext extension, and for now we're just going from 1 to 100 or maybe 200. But I will pause it in the meantime to see what will be the result, and we're going to render from our perspective, and I think HT540 would be great for now. Okay, and we can go to the render, and it's, well, let me for the last time see everything was great. Yes, now we can go to the render and render sequence, but let me change the fire to fire 2, and now we can go and see what we get. Okay, I'll pause the video and see you when it finished. Okay, here is the final result, and I think that's a great result for a 30-minute tutorial. Thanks guys for watching, and hope you like it, and if you like, just like it and subscribe for more videos and more tutorials.